It all started with a vague 911 call, a call to a crime that would shake America to this day.
Tonight, Andrea Yates, what's the problem? I just need him to come. Is your husband there? No. So what's the problem? I need him to come. I need to know why we're coming, ma'am. Is he there standing next to you? She? Are you having disturbance? Are you ill or what? Yes, I'm ill. You need an ambulance? No, I need a police officer.
When police arrived at the Yates family home, they were horrified to find 5 dead children all lying in the same bed in an empty bathtub full of water. Andrea Yates had methodically killed her children in the bathtub and placed their bodies side by side on the bed. Yates went to trial in 2002 and had a retrial in 2006, but the question still remains. Was the court right in acknowledging her mental illnesses? And the most logical answer to this is yes. It started when Andrea had her second child. She became depressed and withdrew from activities she enjoyed doing. This only seemed to worsen as Yates continued to have children throughout the years. She attempted suicide for the first time 5 months after her fourth child, Luke, was born. She was admitted to the hospital many times for attempting suicide and becoming catatonic during her panic attacks. Yates was eventually prescribed antidepressants but refused to take them, and against doctors' advice, became pregnant with her fifth child, her only daughter, Mary. Yates was doing okay until a few months later her father died, and after that she was hospitalized twice, the last time a month before she killed her children. When taken into the police station in question, she stuttered and struggled to answer the questions asked.
Accomplished them when you did take your children's lives?
Maybe in their innocent years, God would take them up.
God would take them up to be in heaven, is that what you mean? All right. And if you had not taken their lives, what did you think would happen to them?
I guess they would have continued stumbling.
And where would they end up?
Hell.
In hell.
The Andrea Yates case was undeniably a horrific crime that really brought up the topic of mental illness, specifically postpartum depression, an illness that in the early 2000s little to no research was really done on it. And because of that, women for decades went undiagnosed and were struggling to adapt to their new lives with a child. And our society told them, you'll be okay, it's fine, it's the baby blues. But because of that, women like Yates, they have no connection with their child, they have disturbed thoughts about their children, and some even go to the lengths to hurt their own child, like Yates did to her 5 children. It's no secret that Yates was severely mentally ill. Her mental illness was rightfully acknowledged during her retrial in 2006, 4 years after being firstly convicted of capital murder. And not only was postpartum not a thing at the time, but those who did know of it only knew the highly stigmatized description of it, that women were just depressed because of the stress of a new child. But that's far from the truth, and if women then had known the symptoms of postpartum depression, like fear of not being a good mother, withdrawal from friends and family, panic attacks, then maybe cases like Yates could have been prevented. Perhaps Yates never took the antidepressants because of the stigma behind depression and postpartum depression. But another side of the story portrays Rusty, Yates' husband, as a careless father who pushed his wife to have even more children, though he knew of the consequences of them doing so. As the more mentally stable one in the relationship, did Rusty ever stop to consider how mentally ill Yates was? He continued to put stress on her throughout their marriage to have more children, and he ultimately left Yates alone with the children when he knew his wife was not mentally okay. Doctors even said she was one of the most mentally ill patients they had ever seen. If Yates had the proper support and care from her husband, as she was so mentally ill, this tragedy could have been prevented. Rusty Yates was also the breadwinner in the relationship, the dominant male figure in the household. If Yates' husband wanted more children, who was she to say no to that? There was an obvious power dynamic between Rusty and Yates, with Rusty as a demanding husband and Andrea as a very sick mother raising 5 children on her own a lot of the time.